Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So in today's video we're going to be doing another collection deep dive, and today we're going to be looking at the Xbox 360. So I've got a couple of different models here. I'd actually say it's one of my bigger collections. So for consoles, I've got the most amount of console variations. For games, is actually my second largest game library in the collection, just behind the PS2. I'm going to put these down because they're getting a bit heavy. But yeah, it is a console that I do pick up regularly for. I have got in the bookcase just to the side here 3 shelves dedicated to the Xbox 360. I've also got 1 shelf down the bottom there that's also dedicated to the 360. I think we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different variants of the Xbox 360. So what we'll do is let's dive in. We'll have a look at the hardware first, and then we'll start diving into some of the games. So, as I said in the intro, the Xbox 360 is actually my largest collection of consoles. You'll see here we've got 8 different variants. Unfortunately, I am missing one of the variants. So, the console right there on the left, it's meant to be the Xbox 360 Arcade, which was the original one that didn't have a HDMI port or a hard drive. But that one is actually a slightly different variant of the 360, where it's got the HDMI port, but it's got the white drive. I am still on the lookout. I've picked them up a couple of times, but every time I pick them up, they're always sort of red light. Next to that, we've got the original Xbox 360 Pro. Then we've got the Xbox 360 Elite. I've got the Halo 3 edition, which I actually managed to pick that up at the boot fair. I can't remember off the top of my head how much I paid. I think it was about a tenner I paid for it. Then we've got my original Xbox 360 Slim. This was one that I bought brand new, and this was actually the first 360 that I owned. Next to that, we've got... I tend to call these the Slim Elites, because they've normally got a bigger hard drive, and then they've got the chrome around the top of it, but I don't think they are. I think they're just classed as 360 Slims. We've then got the Xbox 360 Slim White. We've then got the Gears of War edition of the Xbox 360 Slim, and then right on the end there, we've got the Xbox 360 E, which was the last variant that was released. And then just in front, we've got a variety of the different coloured controllers that I've got. You'll see there I've actually got a couple of white controllers, but the 2 that are standing up against the consoles, they're actually slightly different. So the one on the left has got a grey trim on the bottom, whereas the one on the right is completely white. And then the one right in the front there, I think that's one of the ones with the grey trim, but I have got the chat keyboard mounting to that as well. In addition to this, I have also got the Xbox 360 HD DVD drive. But unfortunately, I haven't got any HD DVDs. I've not actually managed to find any. So I've never been able to test it. And I'll be honest, I forgot to put it in this photo when I was taking it. So yeah, that is the hardware that I've got. I have got a couple of Kinect sensors as well. But they're in boxes. I don't really ever get it out anymore. I think the last time, probably years ago, that I actually got my Kinect sensor out. And I think the last game I played was probably Kinect Star Wars. So yeah, that is the Xbox 360 hardware that I've got. So let's jump over and we'll have a look at some of the games. So here is a small collection of the Xbox 360 games. I think there's about 125 in these couple of stacks that we've got here. But in total, I've got around 359 games on the Xbox 360. So yeah, it is, I think it's my, as I said in the intro, it's my second biggest gaming collection, just behind the PS2. And yeah, they're games that you still find them out in the wild. You tend to find them pretty cheap as well. I know at the boot fairs, I normally pick up Xbox 360 games for anywhere between sort of 50p and £1. But if it's a particular game that I really want, I will pay up to get hold of it. But yeah, so on the Xbox 360, there was a whole raft of different types of games. And I'm not going to get into every single different genre in this video. But I have picked out some of my favourite genres on the Xbox 360. So one of the things that I really love collecting on the Xbox 360 are the promo and bundle copies. So you'll see here, I've got not a bad collection of them. We've got Michael Jackson Kinect, Project Gotham Racing, Alpha Protocol is actually sealed, but the seal is starting to deteriorate at the top. Then we've got the bundle copies of Forza Motorsports 2 and 4, I think it is. Then we've got Midnight Club and Pro Evolution Soccer 6. Yeah, anytime I see these, I always tend to pick them up because for me, they're different. You don't see them too often. So yeah, anytime I do see them out, I do tend to pick them up, especially if I've not got one in the collection already. And it wouldn't be a console deep dive without going through one of my favourite genres of games, and that is the fighting games. What I was surprised when I was putting this video together was actually how few fighting games I have on the Xbox 360. Yeah, it's just for some reason I've just not got that many. So I've got 5. And yeah, I was really shocked at how few I had. Obviously, I do have Dead or Alive, one of my favourite fighting game series. But one of the games I picked up recently was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And I've never actually played any of the Marvel vs. Capcom before picking this up. So yeah, really enjoyed this. But another one actually that I've got here is Street Fighter 4. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the more modern Street Fighters. Now, I know that the original Street Fighter 2, which I grew up playing and I absolutely loved. I think it's the game that got me into fighting games to start with. It's very cartoony graphics, but I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of the art style of some of the newer games, but I still do pick them up because they are still good fighting games. Soul Calibur is another absolutely amazing fighting game series as well. I've got quite a good collection of them now across different consoles. So yeah, that is going to be my very small fighting game collection. So one of the studios that I find was very well represented on the Xbox 360 was Bethesda. So I am a massive fan of the Fallout series. I originally started playing it with Fallout 3 when I bought it on the PS3. I think I got the special edition, then went on and got the Game of the Year edition. But the Game of the Year edition was actually bugged on the PS3. So you couldn't actually complete one of the DLCs. But when I found out that the Xbox 360 version worked perfectly, I did pick it up. Obviously, all of these games here are long before Microsoft acquired Bethesda. So these are when they were still sort of an independent studio. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, absolutely amazing games. I have to be honest, I've never played any of the Elder Scrolls games. I think I've said on some other videos, I'm not a massive fan of the sort of Dungeons and Dragons, sort of medieval type games. I've said so many times that I'm going to go and give the Elder Scrolls a go at some point or another. But the problem I have is I just get so many games coming through that take priority over it. That I've just not had the time so far to sit down and play them. But I will admit, when I think of the Elder Scrolls games, I actually think of them on the Xbox. I think a lot of the people that I saw when they were sort of fairly new, a lot of the people that I knew that were playing them on Xbox. So yeah, it's one of the game series that I associate with the Xbox 360. And there's a couple of game series throughout this video that I do associate with the Xbox 360 over the PlayStation. Next up, we're going to be looking at another set of promotional games on the Xbox 360, but this time they are promotional games that were released by Burger King. So these were only released in the US, so they are NTSC games. So unfortunately, I've not been able to play them so far because I just haven't had a chance. I've got an Xbox 360 Slim waiting to put a mod chip in, but I've not had the chance to actually put it in yet because, yeah, I do really want to play these. Obviously, Sneak King is the big one that everyone has sort of seen people play online. And then you've got Big Bumpin' and Pocket Bite Racer. I think what happened with these is when you went in, you got like the extra value meal, and you could get the game, I think, for like a couple of dollars. But yeah, when very early days of collecting for the Xbox 360, or it was not long after I started the channel, I don't think. I actually went on eBay and I managed to track down all three. I think it was all three in a single listing as well, so I actually got a really good deal on these. But yeah, can't wait to play these. They are probably going to be the first thing that I play once I mod chip one of my Xbox 360s. Next up, we've got a couple of skateboarding games. Now, I will admit, for me, whenever I think of things like the Tony Hawk games, I just immediately think of PlayStation. I think because when I was younger, any of the Tony Hawk games that I played were normally on the sort of PS1. But I have got a couple here. Obviously, Tony Hawk Shred is one of the ones where it requires the board controller, which I haven't got at the moment. And I don't think I've ever played Proving Ground, but from what I've seen, it's not an amazing game. But one game that really did surprise me was Skate 3. This is an absolutely brilliant skateboarding game. And yeah, I'd actually probably, controversially or not, I would actually say that it controls so much better than the Tony Hawk games. And that's all the different versions. I just think the way that the controls work on it, it just makes it so easy to play. And actually this one, there are so many big name celebrities in it doing sort of cameos, voiceovers, everything. It was a really, really good game.
You're doing pretty good there, Benny. Keep at it, buddy. Hey, you over there. Get over here. Welcome to my skate school. This is the state-of-the-art skateboarding program, man. Built and approved by me, Coach Frank. If you didn't learn here, you didn't learn how to skate. Here, you're gonna learn the basics, you're gonna get good, and if you don't, I'm gonna break your board. Coach Frank. See that thing in your hand? Yeah, it's called a skateboard. Now put it on your feet. You'll only need a couple of pushes to get up to speed. Coach Frank uses one. The first thing you need to learn is how to get around on your skateboard. Let's see if you can handle it on this course. You like going down hills fast? You better. Now use the guides to aim your skateboard at the thing you want to grind. And again, set up in the blue, flick it in the yellow. Line it up. Set up and flick it. Now you're getting it. All right.
Follow me. Whoa.
Next up, we're going to be looking at the first exclusive series of games on the Xbox 360, and that is going to be Gears of War. So I've not got a too bad selection of Gears of War games. Up the back there, you'll see I've got different versions of the original. So going left to right, we've got the normal retail release, we've got the special edition, and then we've got the bundle copy. And then going across the front, we've got Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, and Gears of War Judgment. And yeah, I have to say, I've never massively got into the Gears of War games, but anytime I've played them, I've really enjoyed them. So I have got the enhanced version on the Xbox One, And then I've also gone through and played the original Gears of War again on the Xbox 360 for this video. And yeah, I have to say, I do enjoy them. They are really good shooters. But yeah, for some reason, I've just never had the time to just completely dedicate to them. I think as well is when they were originally released, or when the series started, I didn't have an Xbox 360, so wasn't really involved in the hype when they were first come out. But yeah, as I say, a really, really good game series, and one that I enjoy playing anytime I get the chance. So next up, we've got a couple of horror games. So yeah, I will be honest, I've not played most of these. So you'll see there, I've not actually got the complete set of both Fear and Dead Space. I think I've got the complete set of Dead Space on the PS3, which originally I think years ago, I always thought Dead Space was an Xbox 360 exclusive, but it's not. It is actually a multi-platform game. But yeah, I've just never had the chance to play them. I have got the recently released Dead Space remake on the Xbox One. But once again, no, I haven't. I've got it on the PS5. But yeah, just haven't had a chance to play it yet. And obviously with the Fear games, I want to get the first one, and I want to start from the beginning with the Fear games and play them through. From what I've seen, they are absolutely amazing games. But one of the games that I want to highlight here is Alan Wake. So this was such a unique take on the sort of horror genre, where you sort of use the flashlight to weaken enemies before you can then kill them. It's a really, really good game. Once again, not one that I've managed to complete yet, but definitely one that I've enjoyed playing. Really, I was absolutely gutted to hear that. So obviously we've got the sequel to Alan Wake coming soon actually, but it is going to be digital only, at least for the sort of initial release. So really gutted with that. Yeah, my attitude with that is I'm just not going to pick it up, because yeah, I think everyone knows my opinion on digital games. But yeah, so we've got Alan Wake there, absolutely amazing game. So another thing that the Xbox 360 was renowned for was the Kinect. The motion tracking sensor that was, in my opinion, overhyped, because the video demo in it was just, even at the time, it was so clear that it was completely staged. But I will admit, when the Kinect first come out, I think when I got my original Xbox 360 Slim, I made sure I got the model with the Kinect, because yeah, there were quite a few games that I wanted to try. There's actually quite a few games that I've got here that I've either played very briefly or not tried at all. Some of them are more recent pickups, but some of the original games that I picked up was sort of Fighters Uncaged, for example. That looked really, really interesting, being able to actually physically fight. But yeah, just the motion tracking on it is just horrible. Then the other game that was quite heavily played on my original Xbox 360 was Once Upon a Monster. So that is a Kinect Sesame Street game that was released. And when they were younger, my little one was obsessed with Elmo. And yeah, that was the main game that they like to play. Another couple of games that I've got, obviously Kinect Star Wars, played that quite a bit. But there are a couple of games actually that I've not had a chance to play yet, that I've picked up within the last sort of couple of years. And that was Kinect Disneyland. I picked that up. I remember I picked that up from a charity shop. It's brand new and sealed, and I paid about 25p for it. So from what I've seen, it is a really terrible game, but I've just wanted to have a go at it. And then the other one that I want to try is Rise of Nightmares. That looks really, really good. Gives me sort of feelings of Rush of Blood on the PSVR. So yeah, there are a couple of Kinect games that I actually do want to try. So yeah, when I get the chance, I'll get my Kinect out of the box and get it set up. I mean, I've still got it in my original, the original Xbox 360 box it come with. So like with every console, the Xbox 360 had its fair share of sports games. And one of the big sports games that I used to play various times was FIFA. And yeah, I've got a really good run of FIFA on the Xbox 360. So I've got right from FIFA 06 right the way through to FIFA 18. I believe FIFA 18 was the last one that was released on the Xbox 360. But unfortunately, it is just disc only. So I am going to try and track down a box complete copy of it. But yeah, what I will say is for me, on the Xbox 360, FIFA was, yeah, just a massive game. Because the company that I worked for at the time, so we had the company had an office up in London. And we actually had an Xbox 360 in the office. So what we used to do was anytime if we were trying to work something out and we had people to put two ideas forward that were equally good and that would both work, it was decided via a game of FIFA. So you were encouraged out of working hours to play FIFA to get better so that you could beat the other guys in the office. It used to be so much fun, and yeah, many of an argument settled by a match of FIFA. So just like with FIFA, another series that's become a staple on all modern day consoles is the Lego games. So you'll see here, I've actually got a fairly good collection of Lego games. A couple unboxed, but most of them are box complete. So we've got both the Harry Potter games, a couple of the Lego Star Wars, and then what we got, Batman 3. The Indiana Jones one is actually an NTSC. I didn't realise that until I was putting this video together. And then down the bottom there, we've got Lego Avengers. I played the Lego games back in the day. I don't really play them so much now. What I will say is they can be quite funny, especially some of the Star Wars ones. I think the comedy value that they put in is really good in some of those games. But yeah, I don't really play them too often now. But I will say they are still really good games, especially if you want something that you've not really got to put a lot of thought into. So another series that we've got on the Xbox 360 that I haven't put too much time in, I have to admit, is the Assassin's Creed series. So this was a series that at the time I never played because, once again, they started releasing before I got my Xbox 360. And because when the time I took them up, I think you had like Assassin's Creed 3 or maybe even 4 were out at that sort of time. And I was like, well, I don't want to start it mid-flow. I need to sort of go back and start it from the beginning. And then once again, it's just something that never really happened. And I have to say, I only started picking up the Assassin's Creed games after really starting to sort of collect hardcore. But yeah, I have played some of them. I've pretty much, actually, I think I've played most of them now. But I've only played them briefly. Yeah, a lot of people were saying to me that no, you don't need to play the old games. You can just go drop in and play them. But I will say I do disagree with that, especially with the first 3 games. It's definitely so much more beneficial to actually play the first 3 games in order because they do reference each other as they go through. So yeah, it is, once again, it's a game series that I will play at some point, but it is just getting the time to actually do it. So another thing that you saw on the Xbox 360 was the reintroduction of double packs. So you'll see here I've got 4 different versions. These are all bundle copies. You couldn't just go and buy a double pack in a shop. But yeah, I still do. I find these fascinating because it's not something you see too often. And these are basically, they're all complete games. So they're the full game. They're on their own disc, everything like that. And normally what you find inside as well is you get both of the manuals that come with the game as well. And yeah, it was something that you would historically get, like, for example, on the Mega Drive, you'd get the Mega Games series. I know that there was a couple of different sort of bundle packs on the, well, actually, no, what am I thinking? Probably the most famous bundle pack that you can think of is Super Mario and Duck Hunt. So, yeah, it's something that you don't see too much nowadays. You might sort of find, like, collections, like Rare Replay, for example, but you don't really so much see things like this, where they're two completely different games and they're sort of bundled onto the same disc. So, another staple for any console that I collect for, and that is the driving games. I am a massive fan of driving games, and yeah, on the Xbox 360 it is no different. So yeah, I've got a fairly good selection of driving games on the Xbox 360. You'll see across the top there, I've probably picked out my sort of 3 favourites. Split Second Velocity, absolutely amazing sort of arcade racing game. It is so much fun to play. Then you go from arcade to simulation, and that is with Forza Horizon 4. Not Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport 4, sorry. And yeah, I loved this one because this was, I think 4 was the one where they introduced the Top Gear association as well. So it was, you could actually drive around the Top Gear test track. And yeah, I absolutely loved that. I think it was probably the first driving game that I actually bought on the Xbox 360 because of that. And then another one that I actually decided to play it for this video, and that was Vin Diesel's Wheelman. And I have to say, this is a superb game. It is I think the best way to describe it is Driver meets Fast and Furious. It is just a really good game. I've only played about sort of half an hour of it, but yeah, I think the mechanics of it are really good, and it's definitely a game that I'm going to be picking back up and carrying on.
Venga, venga, venga! Roadblock! Damn it! Don't stop! Smash through! Let's see them catch us. Good. They put a helicopter looking for us. Looks like you really pissed them off. Why? You looking for a dance partner?
Maybe. But I'm gonna need a team that knows exactly what they're doing.
I prefer to work with people who know how to stay behind the scenes.
So another game series that become a bit more popular during the sort of Xbox 360 era was the music games. And you'll see here, the majority of the games that I've got here are the likes of Rock Band, Rocksmith. I've got some DJ. I've got both the DJ Heroes, Guitar Hero. Lips, I think, is more of a sort of karaoke type game, but all of them get blown completely out of the water. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a cheat, this one, I think, but I'm going to have to give this to Brutal Legends. This is, once again, an absolutely brilliant game. So you play a roadie for a atrociously awful rock band, and you get killed and basically sent to hell, and you've got to battle your way through. What makes this game absolutely brilliant is the character that you play is actually voiced by Jack Black, and once again, he doesn't let it slip. it is just an absolutely amazing performance. And I'd definitely say if you haven't played this one, it's definitely one to pick up and play because it is a brilliant game.
So fine, oh mine, squeeze you like a porcupine. Say what?
You ever feel like you were born in the wrong time? Like you should have been born earlier? When the music was real? A good roadie knows his whole job is to make someone else look good. Keep someone else safe. Help someone else do what they were put here to do. A good roadie stays out of the spotlight. If he's doing his job right, you don't even know he's there. Once in a while, he might step on stage just to fix a problem, to set something right. But then before you even realize he was there, or what he did, he's gone.
I totally know the master. We're really good friends. Known each other since kindergarten.
Gotta get a weapon.
Okay, alright. Well, here goes. Oh man, gotta get this thing moving. Dear evil, messed up demon powers of darkness, and unimaginable evil. Please transport me off this awesome corpse pile. I am but a visitor in your strange world.
So a genre of games that saw its introduction during the Xbox 360 era was the Toys to Life games. And you'll see here I've got a couple of the sort of main contenders. So we've got Disney Infinity and then a couple of the Skylanders games. I will admit I haven't actually played any of these because I don't have the portal to play them. Not for the Xbox 360 anyway. I have played a bit of Disney Infinity. I think I've played it on the PS4 because the little one has got quite a big set of Disney Infinity characters. But unfortunately, it's not a genre that is hanging about. It's pretty much dead now. Obviously, Skylanders is no more. Disney Infinity is no more. What is Amiibo? I wouldn't really class as Toys to Life. And yeah, I just don't think there's actually an active Toys to Life series anymore. Yeah, it's a unique type of game. But yeah, it's unfortunately didn't survive too long. But yeah, some interesting games nonetheless. So, as I said earlier on, the Xbox 360 was no stranger to sports titles. Obviously, we covered the FIFA games earlier on. But here I've got a selection, which I think is most of my selection of other sports games. I'll be honest, most of these I haven't ever played. They're mostly there for the actual collection. But across the top, I have got some that I do enjoy playing. So on the right there, we've got, is it Rapala Tournament Fishing? I actually quite like fishing games. And I think the first fishing game I ever played was Sega Bass Fishing on the Dreamcast. And yeah, I have to say, this one, it took me a bit of time to get used to it, but once you learn about the casting and everything like that, it actually becomes a really good game to play. Really realistic, and yeah, just an enjoyable one. Then on the right there, we've got Top Spin 4. I love tennis games. Once again, another genre that I got into with the original, with the Dreamcast, playing virtual tennis. I just find that if a tennis game is done well, it can be a really good game. And I have to say the top spin ones were really good. I've got a couple of them now. I know I've got the original Top Spin on the original Xbox. But yeah, Top Spin 4 is a really, really good tennis game for the Xbox 360. And then another type of game I I've got no clue about the sport itself, is ice hockey. So we've got NHL 07 there. And I have to say, any time that I've put in a hockey game, whether it's to capture footage or just because I want to play something different, I really enjoy them. And yeah, I will say this one was really enjoyable. If I remember rightly, this was the version that they decided to change up the control scheme. So you use the right thumbstick to control basically your shooting, your passing, everything like that. I couldn't get on with that, so I ended up switching it halfway through capturing gameplay footage to the classic, which shares a lot of similarities with games like FIFA. But yeah, I think the ice hockey games, as I say, anytime I've played them, really enjoyed them. And yeah, anytime I'm really glad to pick them up because I think they're really good games. So next up, we've got one of my absolute favourite genres of games as well. So obviously this is a bit of a spin-off to the horror genre, but that is the zombie genre. So you'll see here I've got 3 different versions of the Dead Island games. So I've got the standard Dead Island Game of the Year, and then we've also got Riptide, which was the sort of follow-on to the original Dead Island. Absolutely loved the original Dead Island. Played it through. I've actually played it through a couple of times, and I have to say the trailer, the sort of teaser trailer for the original Dead Island was absolutely out of this world. It is still one of my favorite. Well, it is my favorite of all times game trailers. Then down the front there, we've got a couple of the Dead Rising games. So we've got the original Dead Rising 2, and Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. I will say I've not played any of the original Dead Rising, but I did play, I think it was Dead Rising 3 or 4, whatever one was the first one on the Xbox One, because I actually got that with my Xbox One. And yeah, put loads of time into that, really enjoyed it and thought it was an absolutely brilliant game. I love these sort of games where it's a case of physics be damned, let's just go absolutely bonkers. So yeah, another set of games that I absolutely love playing. Obviously being a big fan of Resident Evil, that's where my love for the sort of zombie genre comes from. So we can't do a collection video without talking about Call of Duty. So as you can see, I've got a fairly good collection of Call of Duty games on the Xbox 360. But the ones that absolute be all and end all for me with regards to the Call of Duty games were the Modern Warfare games. When these games were out, the preferred platform was the Xbox. It got better service with the online play. It got exclusive content and things like that. I played these all on the PS3, and yeah, I absolutely love the Call of Duty games, or especially the Modern Warfare games. I will say I have fallen out of favour with Call of Duty, especially sort of in later games. So I think you'll see there, I've got Call of Duty Ghost and Advanced Warfare. Picked both of them up on PS4, played them through. I think Advanced Warfare, it was Call of Duty Ghosts. I played on the PS4. Advanced Warfare I actually played on the Xbox One. But Call of Duty Ghosts, I was really disappointed with that because that was the first game that had exclusivity on the the PlayStation. But yeah, so I was like, no, I'm going to go all in with Call of Duty Ghosts. So I got the season pass, I got the game on release, and yeah, I mean, I sat down one Sunday afternoon, blitzed through the single player in about 6 hours, and then went straight onto the online and absolutely hated it. Sort of walked around the corner, got sort of one-shotted, and then when I watched the replay, literally the guy had unloaded a whole clip on me. So yeah, that was it. That was my one and only attempt at playing Call of Duty online. And yeah, I've never gone back to online. And to be quite honest, I think now, for me, Call of Duty is a dead franchise because of the way that they carry on with the series. But yeah, as I say, the Modern Warfare games are ones that I do go back to fairly regularly because I just think they're so well made. Especially Call of Duty 2, I'd say that is my favourite out of all three. As well as Call of Duty, the Xbox 360 had a whole raft of first-person shooters, and there are some absolutely outstanding ones on there, from the exclusive Titanfall, Rage, and you'll see there I've got a couple up the top, which are my personal favourites. Homefront is an absolutely brilliant game. You're based in America, and the Korean army basically invade America. Absolutely brilliant. And then I know it's a bit of a cheat because it's not technically a first-person shooter. It's more of a puzzle shooter. But Portal 2, by far, my favouriteest game on the Xbox 360, on the PC, PS3, any platform I can get hold of it. I absolutely love playing it. And I also need to give a bit of a shout out as well to the 3 Bioshocks there in the middle. So we've got Bioshock 1, 2 and Infinite. I have played through Bioshock 1 and 2 a couple of times, completed those. I've got about halfway through Bioshock Infinite. It is a game that I do want to go through and finish off, because from what I've seen, it's got a absolutely amazing story to it.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for
9999999.
this courtesy call.
Hello? Anyone in there?
Subjects should vacate the enrichment
Hello?
center immediately. Any test subject.
Oh, God. You look good. Looking good, actually. Are you okay? Are you... Don't answer that. I'm absolutely sure you're fine. There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency evacuation.
Okay, almost there. On the other side of that wall is one of the old testing tracks. There's a piece of equipment in there that we're going to need to get out of here. I think this is a docking station. Get ready. Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. Hey, you made it. There should be a portal to... Hello? Can you see the portal gun? Also, are you alive? And if that's important, you ask that. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on the assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead.
Power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this. Oh, there's a password. Okay, it's fine. I'll just hack it. Not a problem. C. Wait, did I do B? Do you have a pen? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I don't. Okay. Listen. All right, new plan. Act natural. Act natural. We've done nothing. Hello.
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me.
You did what?
So we can't move on from talking about first-person shooters without going into the franchise that literally put Xbox on the map, and that is the Halo franchise. So you'll see here I've got another selection actually in the franchise. So up the back there we've got the classics and the normal version of Halo 3, as well as the special edition. Right there in the middle at the front, we've got the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition. And then we've got Halo 4 and Halo Reach. I do also have, I believe it's Halo Warfront, I think is the name. And then also, that's the special edition. And then also the special edition of Halo Reach as well. But I wasn't able to get to them because they're in storage. I haven't actually got the room to get them out at the moment. But yeah, the Halo games are really, really good shooters. Once again, they're not ones that I've really gotten into. So the first time I actually played Halo properly was the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One. And yes, I can hear the thunder going on as I'm recording this. So yeah, I played the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One. And yeah, I thought it was good. But once again, just have not had a chance to get into it. I think once again, because this was out on the original Xbox, I never had an original Xbox at the time. I never really sort of picked up Halo, but it is a series that whenever I get a chance to play it now, I really enjoy it. So, following on from Bethesda that we spoke about earlier on, another studio that Microsoft were able to basically buy out was Rare. So, obviously here we've got a couple of titles. We've got Perfect Dark, both the normal and special edition version, as well as Banjo-Kazooie. Those are the only Rare games, actually, that I've got on the 360. I'm not sure how many were released. But I know I've got a couple on the Xbox as well. But I have to say, I think it is the biggest mistake that Nintendo ever made was letting Rare go to Microsoft. But it happened. Yeah, I will say I think the Rare titles on the Nintendo 64 were probably a bit better than the titles that have been put out on the Xbox 360. But I will say I really enjoy playing through Banjo-Kazooie. It's a really good game. And basically it's set up as the third game in the series. So it does actually follow on from the two N64 games. So yeah, that is really good. The Xbox 360 also had an absolutely amazing library of licensed games. So you see here, these are some of the ones that I've got in my collection. There's actually quite a good mix of both sort of film and TV. Some of it you wouldn't really expect. So like Falling Skies, for example. I think when I picked that up, the reason that I picked it up was because I'd never expected to see a game for that TV series. But I will admit, two of my favourite licensed games on the Xbox 360 have to be Star Trek and Alien vs Predator. When I first got hold of Star Trek and I was playing through it, I just thought it was so well done. It is, I believe it's based after the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, and then just before the second one. But yeah, it's a really good third-person shooter. But another absolutely brilliant game. And I will say, the first time I played Alien vs Predator, I actually played it on the PS3, long before I ever got an Xbox 360. But it is such a great game. So you get the option to play either the Marines, the Predator, or the Alien. And yeah, it's all sort of centered around a Weyland-Yutani facility on some distant planet. And yeah, just a really, really good game. I know when I've played it before, I've literally played through all three variants and completed all of them. An absolutely brilliant game.
Join the Corps. Get a free sauna. Shoot it! Remember, acid for blood! Alien Don't forget, you've got stims if you need them. Damn it! Now I'm locked in.
It's pretty dark in here. Can I get a flashlight? You just want me to fix the lights?
A structurally perfect organism, no question. Send in another test subject, armed.
The next set of games we're going to look at are the Mass Effect games. So I have got all 3 of the original Mass Effect games on the Xbox 360. I will be honest, I've only played a bit of Mass Effect 2. From what I've heard, that is the best game to play out the whole series. They learnt their lessons from Mass Effect 1 and made improvements in Mass Effect 2. And then obviously with Mass Effect 3, we all know about the controversy that come along when you finished it. So originally with Mass Effect games, the way that they were promoted was that decisions that you made throughout Mass Effect 1 and 2 would have an impact on the ending of Mass Effect 3. And that impact was so minimal, it was completely oversold. To the point where BioWare had to release a DLC that basically changed the ending of the game. So, yeah, I have got them on the Xbox 360. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at getting the remastered version on the Xbox One. And once I can get hold of that, I'm then going to play through all 3 of them. So the last selection of games that we're going to look at in today's video is going to be the Saints Row games. So these were released I think they initially come out on the Xbox 360 or that sort of that generation. They were on PlayStation as well. But these were, I think originally with Saints Row, they were brought out as a competitor to the Grand Theft Auto series. But as the series has gone on, so like once we got to Saints Row, Saints Row the Third and then Saints Row 4, they sort of got more sort of zany and silly and sort of diverted away from the seriousness of Grand Theft Auto. I'll be honest, I haven't really played the Saints Row games. I've always been more interested in more interested in the GTA games. So I've got GTA 4 and 5 on the Xbox 360 as well. But yeah, I've briefly played Saints Row. I probably played about half hour to an hour. And yeah, I see where they're going with it. But yeah, for me, I am very much a Grand Theft Auto fan. So that is going to wrap up my deep dive into my Xbox 360 collection. As I said at the beginning, this isn't, I haven't gone through every game in the collection. There's still, a whole load more games that I've got still on the shelves. But I think if I was to go through them all, this video would probably be 10 days long. But yeah, it is a console that I'm going to continue collecting for. I think it's an absolutely amazing console, and definitely one of the consoles that I'd recommend that if you're getting into collecting. It's an easy one to start with because charity shops, CEX even, boot fairs, everything like that, you can get the games really cheap. At boot fairs and that, you can tend to get the consoles quite cheap. I will say, if it is a console you're going to start collecting for, when you are initially picking up the hardware, look to get hold of one of the slim models instead of one of the original models, because the original models all of them are pretty much prone to the red ring of death. I will say the models that I've got that I showed at the beginning of the video, all of them work. So even the fat models, as they're called. But whenever I'm capturing game footage or playing on any of the Xbox 360 games, I always use my white slim. And yeah, that runs absolutely amazingly. So that is going to wrap up the video for today. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. I am going to be preparing the next collection deep dive videos, so you'll see that in about 4 or 5 weeks time. And yeah, it might more than likely be based off of a Nintendo console. So yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.